Welcome to Bowl Game Radio.
They reverse it to Shipley. Now he's going to throw the ball to Ash at the 5, to the goal line. Touchdown, Texas. A little razzle-dazzle.
With Bruce Binkowski and Mark Neville.
Boots it downfield, got a receiver there. Caught at the 15, 10, 5. He scores.
Bowl Game Radio on San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Thanks for tuning in to the 6th show of Bowl Game Radio here on the Mighty 1090. I'm Bruce Binkowski, and boy, are things getting interesting in our business now.
Bowl season is quickly approaching. I am Mark Neville, and our aim with Bowl Game Radio is to get you behind the scenes. And Bruce, tonight we have a great show. First, we'll be joined in our weekly segment, our team selection update, and a little visit to the Coach's Corner with Coach Ted Tollner. And then we have another special guest that will be joining us a little later in the show. The executive director of the Bowl Championship Series, the BCS, and next year's college football playoff, Bill Hancock.
And this is show number 6. Now, we'll do 10 of these shows leading up to the bowl season, of course, in December. And it's all about the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl and the National University Holiday Bowl, along with other college football talk, and of course we'll be hearing a lot of that from Ted Tollner and of course Bill Hancock.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to take your questions, comments for us, Coach Ted Tollner or Bill Hancock. The number's 858-457-1090. That's 858-457-1090. And we'll look forward to hearing from you.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter using at Holiday Bowl Game or at Poinsettia Bowl. And we're also now on Instagram. Look for us at SD Bowl Games. And also, and I didn't realize this, you can listen to interviews and segments from Bowl Game Radio on YouTube.
You didn't know that?
Well,
aren't you the executive director of this organization?
I am the executive director. I'm not what you'd say social media savvy. But you can go to our websites, holidaybowl.com and poinsettiabowl.com, and check us out there. So there's a lot going on in the world of college football, especially in the world of college football bowl games.
Right, there's only a few weeks left until we're going to know who's going to be playing in our 2 games, and I think this is an appropriate time to launch into our team selection segment with Coach Ted Tollner. Coach, welcome to the show. You're on with Bruce and Mark.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Bruce. Social media, huh? I'm not very social media aware either, Bruce. I'm glad to hear that.
No. You are not alone, Ted, but I will tell you.
I got your guys back right here.
Well, you got to keep us covered, Mark.
I will do that.
I do know how to text, though. Is that social media?
I guess so. I don't know.
All right. Well, Ted, thanks for joining us. I know you're at your granddaughter's volleyball game tonight?
Well, yeah, they play. Yeah, Poway's playing Scripps Ranch, so it's a big game watching these girls play. I love it.
All right. Well, we'll keep you away from the game for just a little while so we can talk a little football, and Mark's going to lead it off with the first question.
Yeah, well, why don't we start with the National University Holiday Bowl, and let's start on the Big 12. So right now, as it sits, 6 teams are bowl eligible now out of the Big 12. 4 teams are out. So there's no one left out there hanging. A couple big games this week, Coach. Baylor at Oklahoma State. How do you see that one coming down?
Well, prior, I was down, as you know, at the Oklahoma State-Texas game, and Oklahoma State won, and they won, score-wise easily, but it wasn't quite that way, but they did. But after watching Baylor and then seeing Oklahoma State in person, I think it'd be a heck of a ball game, but I would pick Baylor to win that thing, and they're going to keep their streak going, I believe. They've proven they're a quality team. Early, I wasn't sure because of who they were beating, but they're starting to beat some quality teams now, and I think they'll be able to handle Oklahoma State, so we'll see what happens.
Now, it is doubtful that Baylor or Oklahoma State will be headed our way for the Holiday Bowl. Bruce, do you think, the leading candidates right now from the Big 12?
Well, and I think the leading candidates, and remember how the selection process goes this year for the National University Holiday Bowl out of the Big 12. Let's just focus on the Big 12 right now. The first pick goes to the Bowl Championship Series. We're going to be talking to Bill Hancock, the executive director of the BCS, a little bit later on tonight. But the first pick goes to the BCS, so let's assume that's Baylor. The next selection goes to the Cotton Bowl. Third selection goes to the Alamo Bowl, then the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl in Phoenix, then the National University Holiday Bowl. So when you sort out all the teams in the Big 12 that are bowl eligible, I believe that Kansas State, Texas, and Texas Tech are the finalists. So, Ted,
I would like to throw one more in there.
Right.
I think Oklahoma could play their way into our game as well.
I think they're a long shot. They have to lose to Kansas
both
State.
Games, yeah.
They have to lose both games.
Yeah, Kansas State and Oklahoma State, they'd have to lose too.
So, Ted, assuming Oklahoma's out of the picture right now, of the three, Kansas State, Texas, or Texas Tech, who do you think would be the best team right now in the Big 12 out of those three?
Well, again, it's difficult, but I would go with K-State right now, believe it or not, only because they're playing good football and winning, and you never know how teams that have started well. I mean, Texas had a great run going, and then they got beat last week by Oklahoma State. It'll be interesting how they regroup this week. And Texas Tech has lost 4 in a row, so two of those teams are struggling. They're going to play each other that are in a losing syndrome that they have to bounce back. So however that comes out, one of those teams will be alive. And then Kansas State's been on a winning streak. So that's kind of what – I mean, it could go either way, but when you get on a roll sometimes, you just figure, hey, I'm going to win the next one too, and you find a way to win. And when you're losing, sometimes it's hard to pull out of it. So that's what I'm basing it on. I think the talent of the three of them, I think Texas has the best overall talent of the three teams of them, Texas Tech and Kansas State.
We're talking with Ted Tollner on Bowl Game Radio, and we're talking specifically about the National University Holiday Bowl and the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. But first off, this is the Big 12 side of the National University Holiday Bowl. So, Mark, what's next on your bowl agenda?
Well, you were just talking about Kansas State, and you're right. They are hot. They've won 4 straight now, but they got a tough one this week at home. They're facing Oklahoma, who is 8-2 right now. Do you think Kansas State can pull out a win on that one?
Well, Oklahoma, I would guess, would be the favorite. They've played better throughout the year. But yes, I do. I think they can upset them. They'll have to do that. I think the odds are that they'll lose to Oklahoma and then beat Kansas and finish 7-5. But I mean, Bill Snyder's teams are going to be ready to play. I mean, they always are, even though they started slow. So it would not shock me to see them win their last 2 and finish 8-4.
I think for the National University Holiday Bowl, and I'll put on my executive director's hat on now, if someone were to say to me, what would be in your perfect world, Bruce, what would happen? I would like to see Baylor continue winning to beat Oklahoma State, to keep Oklahoma State out of the bowl championship series.
Nothing against Oklahoma State.
Nothing against them at all.
No.
But
we're selfish here.
For us, Kansas State could be available to us with a 7-5 record and on a roll, or if they're not available, the winner of the Texas Tech game, which would bring an 8-victory Big 12 team to the National University Holiday Bowl. So in the perfect world, a 7-win Kansas State or an 8-win Texas Tech or an 8-win Texas would be great for.
Well, you want to have a selection, and I think if Oklahoma stays out of the BCS, we will have a selection.
We will. Now let's move over to the Pac-12.
Yeah, so let's go to the Pac-12. We right now 8 teams, believe it or not, have already become bowl eligible out of that conference. Just one team is out. Just Cal is the only team that is eliminated. 3 of them are still in the hunt for a bowl bid. Bruce, tell us which teams we get, and then who you think the front runners are.
Well, in the Pac-12 side, first the winner, the champion, goes to the BCS or the Rose Bowl. Then the Alamo Bowl picks next, and then the National University Holiday Bowl. So we're right up there. So we've got some great options.
Who do you think those are?
Well, they could be USC. It could be Stanford. It could be Arizona State. It could be UCLA, but we've gone on record as saying that we don't like repeat teams. We had UCLA last year. So I think those are the top 4. Ted, would you agree?
Totally agree. I mean, we're in great shape there. We're going to more than likely end up with a 9-win team, and they're all prestige schools with quality programs over the years. So I'm sure there'll be a pecking order at the end of those. But, I mean, whether it's USC or Arizona State or Stanford, and, I know you said UCLA in that group too, but any of those, I mean, those are quality programs with potentially 9 wins. I mean, that's outstanding to have.
Now, a few weeks ago, we would not have thought USC would have been in this mix. They were just on a downward spiral, but things have rebounded there with a huge win last week against Stanford. Is USC really that good now?
Well, they're playing where they're really high energy. I mean, Ed Ogeron has been the interim coach since they made the change. They've won every game except the Notre Dame game, which they very easily could have won, and I think they're for real. I mean, their talent is more depth than it is quality. They've recruited well while they've been on probation, but they didn't have the same numbers, so they don't have the depth. But now the players they have, they're quality players, and they're playing with high energy. They're believing they can win, and they're playing great football. And they could very easily run the remainder of the table against Colorado and UCLA and end up with 10 wins. But I think it's probably they're going to have 9 or 10. They're going to have one or the other.
Now, Coach Orgeron from USC, the interim coach right now, is doing an amazing job. Do you think he should get a shot at the full-time head coaching job there?
Well, I don't know how you cannot get a shot. I mean, the players, the way I would see it right now, I'm sure Pat Hayden's got to look at all the possibilities that he has. But here's a man in their program that they think highly of because his assistant role and naming him the interim head coach. But more than anything, the way they're playing and the energy and the success they're having, their players look like, to me, they're going to be putting a pretty strong pitch in there too, because they're playing like they're having fun and they're winning, and it's I mean, the excitement that was on that sideline when they beat Stanford, they've come together. So he has to be looked at. I mean, you just have to look at him as a serious candidate. Now, whether it goes that way, that's other people's decisions, but I'm certainly sure he's going to get a quality look.
So wrapping up this week's preview of the National University Holiday Bowl, we think, sitting here tonight, that we have the possibility of a great, great matchup. And that game is Monday, December the 30th, Pac-12, Big 12, and on December the 8th, we're going to find out who exactly is in the game. And don't forget our great, spectacular pregame and halftime pageantry. So for tickets, just go to holidaybowl.com. That's the National University Holiday Bowl, Monday, December 30th, 7:15 kickoff.
So now let's jump on over, Coach, to the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl and the Mountain West. So right now in the Mountain West, Bruce, why don't you tell us the teams that we get or that we select, and who's in the running?
We get the second selection out of the Mountain West Conference this year, and I'd say that the candidates right now are Boise State, Utah State, San Diego State, and again, and similar to the UCLA situation, we don't like to take teams back-to-back years, but circumstances could dictate that. So San Diego State is still in the picture. And I'd say those are the top three.
And you know what? One that is sneaking back into it is Colorado State.
Colorado State is sneaking back, but I think that's a super long shot. So, Ted, let's talk about Boise State first. I personally think that the way we would guarantee get Boise State is if they were to win out. And I say this knowing that they're playing San Diego State Saturday night, but if they win out, meaning they won their last two games, beat Fresno State in the conference championship game, I think in that situation, Fresno goes to the Vegas Bowl, who picks ahead of the Poinsettia, and then Boise State would land in San Diego. However, if San Diego State beats Boise State, all bets are off this Saturday, and let me put you on the spot there. Can San Diego State beat a really good Boise State football team?
Oh, they can. I don't think there's any question about whether they can or not. Now, whether they do it, they're going to have to play a game like they did against Fresno State. I mean, just get after them on defense and make it difficult for them, move the football, and then finish. But, no, I believe they can beat them. Now, I think Boise State probably has more overall balance than Fresno State, even though Fresno beat them. But, no, there's no question that San Diego State can beat them, even though they're going to be the underdog. It's a home game. If they have a live crowd that gets them in and the energy, the seniors are playing their last home game, I think they can upset them. Now, the odds are Boise's going to win it. I mean, that's the way it looks right now, but that's not a given. I mean, this is going to be an exciting, and it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
And you can never count out a Rocky Long coach team, and
no.
you've seen that time and time again. So, Boise State, still a candidate for the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. San Diego State, also a candidate. Utah State, still a candidate. So that's what we're looking at the Mountain West right now. Now we move over to the other side.
So to the Mid-American Conference, and Bruce, right back at you. Which teams are available to us here?
Oh boy, I'd rather put Ted on the spot on this one, but as
I'm trying to help you out here, Ted, but he's going to put it right back to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all right.
All right. Well, as the original agreement is, if Army was bowl eligible, they would be in the Poinsettia Bowl, but they didn't make it. They're 3-7, so they're not going to be bowl eligible. Our backup agreement was with.
Boy, but if they did make it, you'd look like a hero.
It would have been great. But our backup agreement is with the Mid-American Conference, a great conference. In fact, we're watching a game right now that could have a big impact on the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Northern Illinois playing a very good Toledo team, and late in the first half, it's a defensive struggle. Northern Illinois 7-3 over Toledo. So we don't know who we're going to get out of the Mid-American Conference, but I think, Ted, and we've talked about this in the last couple of weeks, whoever we get out of that conference is going to be a quality football team.
Oh, we're talking about a team with a minimum of 8 wins, and more than likely we could have a 9 or a 10-win team. Those are great years. When you get 8 or above, you had really an excellent year. And the conference is really underappreciated nationally because they sit there in the Big Ten country, but they play quality football. There's no question about it, and we're going to get a team that is going to be a great competitive team to play against the Mountain West.
And as we're looking at the game right now between Toledo and Northern Illinois just made a field goal attempt that missed, so it's still 7-3 NIU in that game.
Which is interesting. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think Toledo's been averaging like 40 or 50 points a game for the last 5 games, and they've won all 5. So to have only 3 points in the first half, it's all of a sudden it's not an offensive game; it's a defensive game.
So now, Bruce, we have been hearing a lot of rumors and a lot of prognostications that Notre Dame might make their way into the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I love the prognosticators that write this and put it on the internet and so forth, because no one's ever called me and asked me, say, hey, we're gonna prognosticate this. In fact, Ted, the other day somebody called me and said, hey, I see Syracuse could come to your game, and I'm thinking, where did they get that from?
Wow.
So I think what the answer to that is very simple. It is a Mountain West matchup against a team from the Mid-American Conference, and let the prognosticators prognosticate, but that's what we're going to have. So for that, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl is Thursday, December the 26th. A team from the Mountain West, a team from the MAC, and bring the family. UT San Diego Family 4-pack, 4 plaza-level tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a game program for just $170. A great deal. Just go to poinsettiabowl.com for all the information. And $1 from each ticket sold goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of San Diego. So, Ted Tollner, any final thoughts on either of our games? Do you have any? Would you like to make a prediction right now, or do you want to wait until next week?
Well, it'd be a lot easier to make it next week.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because then we know the outcome of these games that are going on not only tonight, but the big weekend games. I mean, there's a number of big weekend games that we've already talked about that'll have a direct influence on how this thing ends up being. And I think that's exciting. I mean, guys are playing hard for bowl game opportunities, and it's an exciting time of year when you get into November in college football. It's bowl season time, and they got to come up and they got to produce if they want to get to the bowl they're shooting for.
You bet. And what people don't realize, and we live it every day, so we know, there are games in the SEC, the ACC, there are games in the Big Ten that could influence and impact our selections, and we just don't have the time to go.
It is funny because, like, one game that the result may end up being really strong for the Poinsettia Bowl may actually hurt the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny how that all works out.
So there's just so many things. So, Ted Tollner, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you stepping out of your granddaughter's volleyball game. I hope your team wins tonight, and we hope all of the games end up this weekend that help both of our games. How's that?
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it, guys. Take care, and I hope the same thing.
All right. Thanks, Ted.
Bye-bye.
Ted Tollner joining us. He joins us every Wednesday night with his preview of not only college football in general, but both of our bowl games.
Always enjoy having Ted on the show. We're going to take a break, but we're going to be taking your calls as well, so give us a shout at 858-457-1090. That's 858-457-1090.
And you're listening to Bowl Game Radio on the San Diego Bowl Game Media Network.